completely and totally insane. At 9 a.m. this morning, we just got the announcement for the next Jake Paul fight. He's going up against one of the greatest of all time in the heavyweight division, Iron Mike Tyson. Like, what? If you told me 6 years ago, when all this craziness started, that Jake Paul would be fighting Mike Tyson with a 30-year age gap, there's no way I'd believe you. But here we are. It's 2024. You can check that off your bingo card. We are about to dive into all the details of this insane matchup. But first, we need context. We need the facts of what's happening before we can get into who wins this. How many pay-per-views does it do? What is this fight really about? We're going to talk about all of it. But first, we're going to get into the actual announcement from Netflix. We're going to watch a little bit of that together. We're going to see what Jake Paul put out. We're going to get through all the tail of the tape and see how they match up. But if you aren't already, go ahead and click subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos in the combat sports space, in the chess boxing space, and free trainings that you can do for mind, body, spirit to improve your life. So tap subscribe and let's get into it. All right. So first things first, we got the announcement from Netflix. This is crazy, dude. This is actually insane. So here he comes. Baby, live on Netflix Saturday. Completely insane. Netflix has 260 million subscribers. This is going to go for free for the subscription cost to 260 million people. That doesn't even include all the people that are going to buy 1 month of Netflix just to watch this thing. They're going to be entertaining millions of people with this matchup, and I'm going to be one of them. There's no way I'm not watching this. We're going to have a watch party. We're going to rent out a bar. We're going to have people over to our houses. We're going to get together to watch something that, normally would be like a $60, $75 pay-per-view. We just get to watch for whatever Netflix is now, $12.99 a month or whatever. So pumped. And this is a big shift in the live sports market. So, right now you can watch live sports on UFC Fight Pass, ESPN Plus, a lot of Disney properties. But this is the first movement of a mainstream platform like Netflix getting into the live TV space. YouTube has already talked about this, getting more live sports on YouTube. Amazon is not far behind them. This is going to be a movement that could be the pay-per-view killer. This could just be seen as another property, another product for these big platforms to throw some money at, to make sure people choose their platform over another platform. And I can't wait to see this unravel and develop as time goes on, because I'm a big believer in this shift. So there's the announcement. Here's where it's going to be held. It is AT&T Stadium, which is where the Dallas Cowboys play. And upon a little bit of Googling, it is an 80,000 person stadium, but it can be reconfigured to hold 100,000 seats. So, are they going to sell out this stadium? Are they going to move 6 figures of live event ticket sales? That would be insane for a fight. Has it been done before? Of course. Like the Rumble in the Jungle. There's been over 100,000 person seated boxing events before. But what those didn't have that we have today is the digital reach of these two icons at this point. What this fight really means is that someone like Jake Paul, which, 4.6 million followers on Twitter, that pales in comparison to YouTube and Instagram. And mostly like a young audience. Some Gen Y, but Gen Z. And then you position that next to Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's following. That's a Gen X following, man. This is a bridge between two generational fighters. All the kids are growing up, finding out about boxing, getting excited about boxing because of Jake Paul. And then you're going to have all their parents watching too, because that's the legend from their generation. This is going to be a generational fight. I never thought I'd be saying Jake Paul is in a generational fight. But I want to watch some of what Jake Paul put out on his YouTube, and I'll listen to full YouTube. But I love his gimmicks here.
You heard it right, motherfucker. I'm fighting Mike Tyson.
He's got the eye tattoo.
I'm the best ever. The rematch is here. Oh my goodness, he's got a body right here.
And not only do I have the honor of fighting one of the two most famous boxers to ever live, it's also happening live on Netflix.
You said the fight's gonna be on Netflix? What do you mean by that? Isn't Netflix where you go to watch movies?
It was until now. This is the first ever professional live sports event on Netflix. And with Netflix...
Crazy, right? First ever live event, live sporting event on Netflix. So, like we just said, this is a major shift. I think it's the right fight to signal that shift in this industry. And I hope that more follow suit. You know, in the chess boxing world, we just signed a deal with Fight TV that's owned by Triller Media. Triller is who put on the original Mike Tyson comeback fight against Roy Jones. And when that fight happened, it was monumental. It was the dream fight that people wanted to see from the 90s, but that never happened. And when that happened 4 years ago, it made waves in the boxing world. Part of the reason it made waves was also on that card was Jake Paul. And he was just starting out. He was still fighting, basketball players and wrestlers. Now he's taking on one of the greats, Mike Tyson. It can't get better than this.
Netflix in over 500 million households and 260 million subscribers. We plan on this being the biggest fight of the 21st century, dummy.
Who is putting on this event and where will the match be held?
Well, it's our most valuable promotions event.
Also, brilliant move by Jake, okay? This could have been done, with partnerships, with other promotion agencies. He is taking it all in-house. He is vertically integrating the combat sports, his whole journey in that space. He's finding his own opponents. He's switching up a traditional way that you build a pro fighter, which is to find career fighters that need a paycheck, that aren't the same caliber, that you can rack up some knockouts and get an undefeated record. He just did that against that Rhino, whoever guy. But he's doing, every other fight is a Nate Diaz, a Ben Askren, a Tyrone Woodley, and now a Mike Tyson. These are big money fights with big names to help grow his star power and his legitimacy alongside just the record builders. It is such a brilliant move.
My first time fighting in the stadium, Dallas, Texas.
Oh, you're mad at me for fighting Mike Tyson? Imagine this.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to tease something else that I think is a big part of this fight. Okay, so we've talked about, can they sell out the stadium? How many pay-per-views or buys are they going to get? Go ahead and drop in the comments, and I promise, in July, I'm going to look back to see who was the closest estimate, and I'm going to send you a signed boxing glove. So go to the comments, let me know how many tickets you think they sell, how many pay-per-view buys they report, and we'll move into the next segment here.
I'm going to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix.
Okay. Hot take. Logan was not happy. I'm reading the body language here.
I'm going to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix.
It's not quite a smile. It's like a wince. It's like a grimace. And then he claps and he immediately goes for the hug. He doesn't want Jake studying his face. Look at the eyes now. He's already making moves to be like, man. These two are lifelong rivals. They're competitors. Jake was always in his older brother's shadow. That's why he was the problem child. Logan was always bigger, but now Jake is winning in the boxing world. Logan started focusing on wrestling, but only a few months ago, they got into it on a podcast where it didn't look too brotherly. There certainly wasn't brotherly love there. Now, why would that be? Well, this is why. Because Logan Paul fought one of the other greatest of all time, Floyd Mayweather. Now, Floyd's a lot younger. He's in a lot better shape. He's still doing exhibitions. He's still piecing people up. But he's a little guy. Logan's a big guy. Logan came, close to landing some good shots. He argues he won. But this Tyson fight, Jake is coming up in weight to fight a knockout artist. Someone that's known for how fierce, intense he was in the build-up to fights and in the fights. Now, he is not the Mike Tyson of old. He's not Iron Mike anymore. But he still feels like a version of that legend that everyone remembers from the 90s. And no one can mess with the name recognition and appeal of someone like Mike Tyson. And this is just another development in this saga of building up to a potential fight between the two brothers. Now, a tale as old as time is Cain and Abel from the Bible. Two brothers that were rivals, and one took out the other. I think we are living in a modern day Cain and Abel story between these two brothers. Massive social media stars, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, all building up to this massive moment that will happen someday. Jake isn't going to take a backseat to his older brother. He's not going to let him have, the limelight of WWE US champion or fighting a legend from boxing without him doing the same or doing one better. Let's talk about what a win actually looks like. We're finally at the part where we get to break down the tale of the tape. Mike Tyson is 57 years old. He stands at 5'10", and he's a heavyweight. He's walking around probably 220 right now. He's going up against Jake Paul, who up until this point was fighting in the cruiserweight or light heavyweight division, depending on the fight. He is 9-1 at 27 years old, and he is 6'1", just about 200 pounds. So Jake Paul has to come up in weight to fight Tyson, and Tyson has been putting out some crazy mitt work footage that looks really good. That footage is from 4 years ago, right before the Roy Jones fight, but I'm sure he'll be releasing more leading up to this fight. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is who's going to win the head games leading up to the fight. Historically, no one could touch Mike Tyson when it came to fight promo and building up hype around how much Mike Tyson was going to destroy, dismantle, obliterate whoever his opponent was. That's not the case anymore. It's a new game when it comes to fight promotion. Since people like Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, and now Jake Paul, there is so much more media involved. And that video from Jake's Twitter shows how much production value is packed into the entertainment of announcing this fight. So I think Jake's going to win the build-up. I think he's going to, walk circles, dance circles around Tyson, not only in the ring, but in the verbal fencing that's going to happen leading up to the fight. Tyson is a much older, wiser person now. There's almost a philosopher that's taken the place of this Iron Mike warrior of old. And I think what we're going to see from Mike is a lot of wisdom imparted on the next generation of boxers. I think he's going to use Jake as a microphone to a much younger audience that's going to be able to sustain Mike through the rest of his life. After this fight, Mike will never have to fight again. Okay, he might get caught, but it's not going to feel like getting caught from a heavyweight in their prime in the 90s. Yes, he's old, but he also has access to all the best medical treatments in the world. You see stuff like he uses a cane, he's in a wheelchair. That's not true. He is in great shape. He has kept himself in great shape. He's going to put on a good show. This is not as big of a mismatch as it could be seen. But that being said, my official prediction for July 20th in Arlington at AT&T Stadium between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is Jake Paul. Jake's not going to take this fight and not win it. He's not going to put himself out there to fight another old guy legend and not win it. And even if he loses in the ring, he wins for the rest of his boxing career. Having fought a legend in front of tens or hundreds of millions of people, and doing it in a first of its kind Netflix live sporting event. So there you have it. There's my pick. Jake Paul wins. Maybe the ring, maybe not, but definitely over the long term. And Tyson kind of wins too. Big payday, new young audience, and any project he wants to do for the rest of his life, he's going to be able to get funded, get eyeballs on it, and live a good rest of his life, assuming he makes it out of the ring alive, which, you know, prayers up to both fighters that all the lead up is healthy so we get to see the fight, and that when the fight actually happens is exciting, and that no one gets hurt. So those are my hopes. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, guess ticket sale number, pay-per-view buy, and who wins and how. I think it's Jake Paul. I think it's going to be a TKO later in the rounds when Mike Tyson maybe tires a bit. We'll say round 6. Okay, there's my pick. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for the comments, for the likes, and let's keep this thing moving.